Okay, so we got our code. Let's read the code again. This is part one. We're going to do part two next week. So here's part one. Right? If you ask, you must surely need. Your need is my allurement. That's our code. If you ask, you must surely need. We're going to talk about that next week. Right now, your need is my allurement. So what does that mean? And we'll also do part of that next week, but I want to get the core of it. So in the Dharma recap that Krista did this week, right, she talked about this fundamental experience that we all have. I have it, you have it, we all have it, which is we're shamed when we're trying to get our basic needs met. And if I'm worried that I don't have enough money to pay my bills, I get very, very in pain, right? When I'm like, right, when I'm worried about my bank account in a kind of fundamental way, a survival way, I get very jittery and I'm humiliated, right? Because it feels like a violation to my dignity that I should have to actually struggle simply to survive. And human beings have struggled to survive throughout history, which is tragic. It's one of the reasons I'm in favor of universal basic income. It's got to be done in a way which doesn't destroy the motivational architecture of reality. And people have to give back, and there's got to be a clear set of contributions, and it's got to be evaluated, and it's got to have value. But no one should feel like, oh my God, I can't pay my rent. Where am I going to go? It's painful. So there's our basic needs for nurturance, right? For nourishment. And there's our basic need to be touched, right? To be held, to be desired, right? What we talked about earlier, right? So there's the basic need for nourishment, right? Which is my basic separate self needs. And in all those levels of nourishment, there's different levels of being nourished. They're all handled in some sense in Maslow's hierarchy of needs. But then there's a beyond Maslow, the second hierarchy of needs, which are the core human needs beyond Maslow, is what we talked about earlier, right? I have a need to be recognized. I have a need to be chosen. I have a need to be intended. I have a need to be not just loved, but love adored. I have a need to be desired. I have a need to be needed. And all of those needs are basic rights of the human being, right? Cha. And they're all ways in which we're touched. Right? We have a need to be touched emotionally, to be touched spiritually, to be touched existentially, to be touched psychologically, to be touched creatively, to be touched physically. Like, wow, those are erotic needs. And a baby, as we talked about last week, and we heard in the Dharma recapitulation, right? The baby reaches for needs. The baby reaches for the mother's breast, or for the bottle. And the baby yearns for the mother's arms. And we're all babies, right? We never outgrow that. One of the most beautiful things is, my son, right? Zion, who's with me. And before he leaves the house, he comes to get a hug. And he does it very low key, but he won't leave the house without getting his hug, right? Because we all need that hug, and none of us wants to leave the house without getting a hug, and none of us are home without the hug. But what happens is sometimes the hug's not there. Sometimes there's a lack of attunement. Sometimes it doesn't show up the way we need it to show up. And that's what we meant when we said last week, and we heard in the Dharma recap, that we're humiliated in getting our basic needs met. And so later in life, when these needs are recapitulated, when I need to pay my rent, but I'm not sure if I have enough money, right? When I need to make a living, I'm not sure how to do it. When I need, right, eros and touch and physicality and to be touched in all the ways, and I can't get those needs met, I'm humiliated again. It recapitulates the original humiliation. When I'm humiliated later in life, I re-experience my original humiliation as a child in getting my needs met. And that's the source of one primary form of toxic shame. Right? The inability to get my needs met and the humiliation I experience in getting my needs met. Right? Wow. Where is this healed? So the place that this is healed, when that's possible, is in the sexual. And you only have to do it once, and you can access the healing. Because in the sexual, in its most beautiful form, we move from the humiliation of our basic needs to our beloved feeling, crying out, incarnating the truth that your need is my allurement. That's so powerful. Right? When your lover beloved, and it doesn't matter whether you're active now, maybe it happened once in your life, but you can access it and you've got one experience of that enlightenment, and you might not even have realized it was happening then, but you can go back to the memory now. And if you go back to the memory now, then it's happening right now. You have this moment when you're locked as the cherubs are above the Ark of the Covenant and the Holy of Holies and of Solomon's Jerusalem temple, the Ark of the Covenant, in which modern culture reclaimed in the movie Raiders of the Lost Ark, right, 30 years ago. It's the Ark of the Covenant. The cherubs are in sexual embrace above the Ark of the Covenant, and the voice of the divine emerges from between the two cherubs. So beautiful. So why are the cherubs in sexual embrace? Because it's in sexual embrace when you have a need, right? Touch me that way. Hold me that way. And always guide your lover, right? Guide your beloved, right? This is the way I need to be touched. This is the way I need to be aroused. This is the way I need to be held, right? This is the way I need to be loved. And your beloved says to you in the deepest way, your need is my allurement. Wow. And when you actually hear your beloved say to you, your need is my allurement, it just has to happen once. And the dignity of need is restored. And the early humiliation of basic needs is healed in this core and gorgeous way. Wow. It's like, wow. So are you with me, friends? Are we together? Can we feel this? This is so big. It's so big. It's so big. Can we feel this? Who can feel this? Right? Who can feel this? Can you feel this? Can you feel like it's like, this is big. It's big. It's this fundamental cosmos. This is cash. This is not credit card, right? This is like, you get this, right? You literally change inside, right? This is the cash dharma of cosmos. This is the inner structure. Right? Reality is allurement, friends. Can you find that? Reality is allurement, all the way up and all the way down. Reality is allurement. And we participate in the allurement of reality, right? And when that allurement is broken because we feel like we're not attuned, because whether a parent or an early caretaker or a teacher or culture, inevitably, not that they've done something wrong, inevitably can never be fully attuned to us. And we have this desperate need, and need is holy. Authentic need is holy. Clarifying our needs, Beirur, the clarification of need, is the essential human action. So when I've clarified my needs, and a baby's needs are clear, the baby knows, but I need to be touched, I need to be held, I need to be nourished. I need to suck at the breast of the nursing mother who is the incarnation of the universal love story. When those needs are humiliated, when that attunement is broken, when that allurement is short-circuited, I'm fundamentally humiliated at the core of my being, but not because it's a bug in cosmos, but because we always fall away. It's the nature of cosmos. We always fall away. And then after we fall away, we recover. Recover is not the solution to an accident, right? Recovery is not the solution to an accident. Recovery is the intention of cosmos. Recovery is not a bug in cosmos. Recovery is a feature of cosmos. So I come to sexuality. And sexuality may be what we classically refer to as sexuality, or it may be just being held in another person's arms. And it may be a sustained experience of our lives, and it might be an experience that's fleeting and ephemeral, but we have it, right? And in sexuality, and I can even experience it in self-pleasuring, right? I actually can experience my need, and I dignify that need. And I hear cosmos whispering in my ear as the beloved, right? Your need, right? Your need is my allurement. And shame is healed. Wow. Wow.